Welcome to Business Networking and Referrals. I'm Faithann Basore, and here we're making the invisible parts of networking visible, things like conversations, body language, and connection, so you can build real relationships that lead to referrals. Let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is a solo episode, and we're going to cover your longer presentations. So, this episode is all around how to make the best use of the extended time that networkers have when they are part of a weekly, industry exclusive networking group, or if you want to have extra time in a monthly group and you pay for that extended time to talk. So, any kind of extended attention beyond a minute has with it some really nice strategies that you can bring to the extra time to make you more memorable and to make that time more exciting for the audience. The typical time I'm talking about is between 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So often in an industry exclusive group, part of the agenda for that meeting is one member gets an extended time to talk, and that's called a feature presentation. Or sometimes you can pay in other kinds of networking groups to have an extended time between 5 and 10 minutes. So I'm not talking about an hour-long talk or a speech. I'm just really talking about a little bit of extra time to talk about your business. I've listened to many of these over the years being a member of my BNI chapter, which stands for Business Network International, and being part of another local networking organization in Oklahoma City called Mix and Mingle. Both of those organizations have this component of an extended time, and most of your weekly industry exclusive groups are going to have this feature. It's part of their agenda. Members know when they sign up to become a member that they will have occasionally extra time to talk. I've listened to many of these talks, I've given many of the talks, and I've learned a few things that work really well when it comes to a feature presentation. And I've learned some things that don't work well at all. So I want to share those with you on today's episode. I'll start by telling you a story. Many years ago, I taught Zumba, and I wasn't very good at it. It was during a time when I was teaching a lot of other kind of fitness classes, and when I get into something, I just go all in. And someone said, "You ought to teach Zumba too." And I said, "Okay, I'll do that." Turns out it really wasn't a good idea for me. And part of my learning process involved two other Zumba instructors who were very, very good at what they did. They repeatedly were telling me, "Faithann, you need more energy. Your students aren't getting the workout they need because you aren't excited enough. You aren't bringing enough energy to your class." So there was one night where I could see them from inside my class I was about to teach, and I saw them walk in the building, and then I saw them come into the classroom, and I knew they were going to take my class. And I told myself, there is no way I'm going to give them a reason to come up to me afterwards and correct me again. I just couldn't handle it. So I took on this persona, almost clown like. I got so excited and rambunctious beyond anything I would ever do in real life. And afterwards, the students came up to me and said, "Faithann, that was so good. That was really good. I've never seen you so energetic." And the instructors came up and said, "Great job, Faithann." And then one of the instructors said something to me that I've never forgotten. She said, "Faithann, your class is never going to come above you. So whatever energy you're bringing to the room, they're always going to come right up underneath it, but never on top of it." And that's why it's so important for you to have this energy so that they can come right up to the ceiling, that you're the ceiling. And that's why it's so important for you to have the energy that you want the room to share. The room is only going to come up to the ceiling that you are. You are the cap, you are the ceiling. They're not going to be more excited about your business than you. So back then, I only taught Zumba for a few more months and then I moved on with my life. And it's so applicable when we're thinking about talking to an audience. The room is going to take their cues from you. They are going to be as excited about your business or just a little slightly less than you. If you're speaking about something meaningful, maybe a nonprofit, or you're telling a very emotional story of how you started your business or what your business has done for your family or how you have impacted your clients, then the meaning that they are going to glean from that, from your stories, needs to come from you. The emotion that you're bringing to the story is going to carry through you to them. So if you have very little emotion and yet you want them to care deeply about what you're saying, it's not a match. They can't come on top of you. They are only going to be as excited or interested or care to the level of just underneath you. Keep this in mind when you do have this extended time to talk, and it will help you take up more space in the room and it will help you be more confident. You can't borrow their energy. You have to come with your own, and then it's going to flow from you to them. And if you're doing your presentation effectively, you will notice their energy and then they will feed it back to you. And you have this energy exchange of your excitement and their excitement and this back and forth. And that's what will happen. And that's what makes a great presentation. Knowing that there's an energy exchange and knowing that they are going to take their cues from you, here are a few simple things that you can do to make the most of this extended time to talk. The first thing that you have to do to be effective and to get your people excited about what you're saying is you have to prepare. You have to think of this time as you would think towards a delicious, fancy, high class meal. So when you don't prepare, it's as if a world renowned chef has prepared the highest quality meal with the highest quality, expensive ingredients, with the skill of that renowned chef, and plated it all up and taken it out to a 9-month old with no teeth. We don't want to squander this time. And what happens especially in the industry exclusive groups, is that because you're speaking once every 3 months or once every 6 months, and because every week there is a speaker, we tend to just think of this as an ordinary time. We don't give it much thought and we say, oh, yeah, it's my turn. What am I going to say now? I've done so many of these, and we don't put any thought or effort into it until the night before, and it can be detrimental to our business. It's just not taking advantage of what you have. So the first thing you should do is prepare so that you know how long your presentation actually is. As you are preparing it, as you are building it, you're thinking, I want to talk about this and I want to tell them about this, and yeah, I'll go ahead and add this. And then if you don't give it to a test audience, and your test audience could be your coworker, it could be your employee, it could be your spouse, it could be your kids, it could be your friends, just some people to listen to it, then you have no idea how long it actually is. And this can be a problem when you get ready to present. The other advantage to preparing ahead of time is you're more emotionally invested in it during the day of. So if you have spent a few weeks thoughtfully preparing what you're going to say and you have tested it, you're going to feel more confident and you're actually more emotionally invested in what you have to say, and you're more excited about sharing it with the room. The other thing that happens is you'll know that you're not going to go over your time. So when you start practicing it beforehand, you know that you're not going to be the one that the timer goes off and you say, I'm almost done, and 4 more slides go by before you're actually done. And the people start to think, okay, he said he was almost done, or she said she was almost done. This doesn't look like she's almost done. And then you break a little bit of rapport because you're not following the rules. And the reason why following rules is important is because we're all playing by the same rules. This is a game. Networking is a game that we all play, and we want things fair. And we don't like it when people don't play by the rules. It sets in motion this uncertainty that we don't enjoy. So know how long you're going to talk, and know that what you plan to prepare, what you've brought to the room is going to be within that time frame as a way to respect everyone's time and to give yourself more credibility. When you can end exactly when you know it's time to end, you look professional and you sound more polished, and it's a great boost in your credibility and your brand. Now, here's something else you can do before you give your presentation. Most groups nowadays, any group of any kind, has some kind of social app or social way to connect with each other online. It could be WhatsApp, it could be a Facebook group, it could be a group me. Most of the time, you'll find there is something like that, and your networking group probably has something like this. Take advantage of that. Start hyping yourself weeks before. Start hyping yourself in the group. Hey, friends, I'm excited to be talking about XYZ in a few weeks. You can also ask the room to invite particular people that would be helpful for you, that would be helpful to be in that room on the day you speak. So if you are a home inspector, you can start talking about you're going to be speaking in a few weeks, maybe tease what your topic is going to be, and then say, please invite your realtors that you know. I would love to have them in the room with me when I speak on such and such day. So get some excitement. It also tells the room that your members that you aren't putting this together at the last minute. You're actually putting some planning and some thought into what you're going to say, which automatically builds your credibility. Ask a few questions to the group around your topic beforehand. Get people talking about what you are going to share with them. And the more they can start talking about it, the more information you'll have. And maybe you can correct a misconception that your group has about your industry. Or maybe there's something in the news that is very applicable to your industry and you get them talking about it. Now you have better material for when it's time to give your presentation. This is a great, easy strategy to build excitement before you speak. Here's what I did the last time I spoke at my BNI chapter. 3 days before I was to speak, I asked a question, an engagement question that teased the topic that I was going to be talking about. And then during the presentation, I brought raffle tickets. And I was talking, and my presentation was all about confidence in networking. How do you know that networking is working? And what gives you the confidence to talk about your own business as you network? And those were the questions I had asked. And then we had this extended discussion. I was leading the discussion. I decided that was what I was going to do because I had some offers that I wanted to make them aware of for referrals. Well, what I did was I highlighted the three people in my chapter who answered my question, or there might have been four. So there were three or four chapter members answered my question in the group app that we have before I spoke. So I recalled each one of their answers and I summarized what they said. And I didn't read it off of a phone or notes. I just committed to memory each member's answer was. And then I would recognize them during my talk and I would hand them a raffle ticket. And I didn't tell them why or what it was for. I just handed them the ticket as I was highlighting their answer. So I did this 4 different times, and then I wrapped up my presentation, and one of the things I did right before I wrapped it up is I strategically found somebody in the room who was very loud and boisterous and outgoing. And I had the matching tickets in this bag, and so I took the bag over to this member, and then I explained everyone who answered my question in our group app is entered into a drawing for a free coffee gift card that's local, that's very close to where we actually meet. So no one knew what I was doing until that moment. And then I let the member reach in and pull out the winning ticket. And then I got to give a gift card to one of my chapter members. So that spontaneous action to them, it was spontaneous. They didn't know it was coming, it was unexpected, and it started before I even spoke. And I was able to use the group me that I had to generate some excitement and some curiosity, get their creative juices and get their minds thinking about what I wanted them to remember. And then I seamlessly brought it into my actual presentation. And then I surprised and delighted one member in particular who left that meeting with a $10 gift card. So these are easy things to do, but they all together make a difference and they make you memorable and they make it easier for others to know how to send you a referral because they've just heard you talk for an extended period of time. The next thing to keep in mind when you are giving an extended presentation is please do not rely too heavily on your slides. Please do not stand in the front of the room and look at your slides and read them word for word. Please do not pack your slides with lots and lots of information on them so that you think, oh, great, I'll just put all the information on my slide and then I'll read it. And that'll eat up time and that'll help my nerves. I challenge you to find some ways to be able to look at the audience and to be comfortable doing that. What we're thinking about is our audience when they're listening. We want to make it enjoyable for them because they won't remember anything you say if it's not enjoyable, if it's not pleasant. And one of the ways to make it enjoyable and pleasant is to surprise and delight and also to be looking at them, making eye contact, and involve them somehow. Another chapter member did this recently. He is very well versed in what he does, very, very knowledgeable, can talk off the cuff about his industry with no problems at all. And so he just asked us questions during his presentation, and he had a bag of candy. And every time somebody answered the right way, he would throw a piece of candy at them. And it worked beautifully. It was fun. We were all, back in the first grade, and it's okay. I mean, we have to think about our audience having um, that mentality. Just because we're all in business and we're business owners does not mean that we enjoy dry facts for 10 minutes. I'm just going to list facts for you for 10 full minutes. That'll be fine. It won't. We will start thinking about our laundry. We will start thinking about our prospects. We'll start thinking about dinner. We'll start thinking about what we're going to do when we get home. Our minds will flee. They'll flee from you and what you're saying. Unfortunately, that's what happens. And you may not even know because, our faces won't shout out, hey, I'm thinking about my dog. Did I feed him this morning or not? We're not going to say that, so you won't know. But what's happening is they're thinking about everything else except you. When you don't engage them in any way, when you stand up at the front and just read, you read notes, like word for word, you just read, or you read slides. So slides are good. They're a tool. They are a guidepost. Just think of it as like a guide, enough to alert you on what to talk about, but don't rely too heavily on the slides doing the heavy lifting for you. It's you. It's your energy. It's what you know very, very well. It's the experience that you bring. It's your excitement about how you're helping people and the impact you're making. That's what needs to carry your presentation, not your slides. So if I were going to use slides, here's what I might do. Let's say that I want to talk about my very first podcast episode and my very first blog article. It's both of them are called Be a Tourist. The episode may be worded slightly differently, but it's the very first episode of this podcast. Be a tourist. So I talk about what does it mean to be a tourist when you network? Well, if I were going to talk about if that was going to be the subject of my 5 minute or 7 minute presentation on a slide, I would just maybe put be a tourist and then maybe a picture of a beautiful destination. But I'm going to know what I mean by that. And I'm going to be able to talk about it without reading it. The slide would just help me know where I'm at, but not be the thing that I'm relying on solely for content. The content has to come within me and what I've prepared and what I've practiced and what I've worked hard to remember. I want you to also tell stories of the impact that you've made, tell client stories. This is a great way to get people excited about what you're talking about. They can see themselves in your stories. And because you have longer than a minute, you can be detailed in your stories. And if you don't think you have client stories to tell, you need to ask your clients to tell you the stories, and they will. Find your most happy clients and say, I'm putting together a presentation for my referral group, and I'm wondering if you might be willing to talk to me a little bit more about what it's meant to have me helping you with XYZ. And they'll tell you. Ask them a lot of questions and they'll tell you, and you can get a good story from that. What's the transformation? How is their life different now? You could take maybe three client profiles, three clients, and you say, Susie before me was this, and now she's that. And Johnny before me was this, and now he's that. And do it 3 times. That will probably get you a good 7, 8 minutes, and then pass out some candy. Just always find something, find a way to get the audience, get your people happy about what you're doing, and candy always works. You can bring swag too. That always works. Bring pens, bring magnets, bring cookies. I remember our travel agent a while ago, she kind of did something similar as the other member I was speaking of who was passing out the candy. So she's just talking off the top of her head. Now, she may have prepared beforehand, but she was so knowledgeable about what she was talking about. She did something similar. She was asking us questions and then clarifying our answers and talking about all the destinations. And as she was doing that, at that time, we were in like this U formation with our tables and chairs. And she started at one end of the U and just slowly walked and handed each person a branded cookie, like a cookie that was it had her logo on it. As she's talking and we're talking, going back and forth, and she's just casually passing out these cookies. And why am I remembering that? That was years ago, but I remember it because she just did it so well and she had the engagement there. I enjoy it when people know their businesses so well and know the results they deliver so well that they almost forget that they're in front of people and they just start talking. And you may have to work up to that. One of the things you can do is just find some way to engage the audience, to surprise and delight them, get them doing something, and it takes the pressure off of you. It will help you be more memorable until you get to the point where you're very comfortable talking. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you will become when you are standing up in these longer presentations. Now, the last tip I have for you is something that I want you to not ever, ever do. I cannot think of a more destructive way to start a feature presentation than to say, I will try really hard not to bore you. If, for instance, you decide that you want to say out loud, I'm going to try really hard not to bore you, what you've done now for every person in the room is you've given them a very, very high hurdle to jump over for no reason at all. All businesses are powerful. All businesses solve real problems in the world. The times that I've heard this said, the people, the profession, it floors me that the people would say these things about their own profession, because I'm looking at their profession and thinking how vital they are, how vital they are. So please do not say anything self-deprecating about you, about your business, about your profession, about the talk. I would go so far as to say I think it's actually rude to tell a group of people that I'm brave enough to stand in front of you. I'm situated in such a way where I now am going to command 10 minutes or 5 minutes of your time. I mean, I chose to be here, and I'm going to prep you for this by telling you that I'm going to try really hard not to bore you to death. I think it's rude. Now, maybe it's not rude. Maybe that's something that I'm just have a particular disdain for. It's not going to help you. It will not help you. You are excited because you are a powerful problem solver. Businesses solve powerful problems in a meaningful, impactful way. They make people's lives better. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your title is. At the end of the day, people are paying you to make their lives better in some way. So we want to know about that. We want to know how you're doing that. And we want to know how we might send you a referral. So please help us get excited about your talk by bringing excitement. Like I said at the very beginning, we're not ever going to be more excited than you. So no self-deprecation before you speak. It's all positive. It's all thank you. It's all gratitude for giving you the attention that they're going to give you. Treat it like a steak dinner. Treat their attention with care. Show them that you care about the attention that they're going to give you by being excited yourself about what you're about to talk about. And prepare and engage the audience in some way. So if you will do those three things, prepare beforehand so you don't go over your time, don't rely too heavily on your slides, surprise and delight your audience in some way, engage them in some way, and avoid at all costs any negative talk about what you're about to say or do. If you will do those things, you will have a memorable feature presentation, and you're really going to help people understand how they can refer you. In fact, it's highly recommended that every feature presentation you give, at some point during that presentation, you tell them very specifically about the kind of people you are looking for in a referral. So our 1-minute presentation, that's our job, is in 1 minute, we've got to pack in 1 short minute the information that the members will need or that your audience is going to need to know if they're standing in the middle of a referral for you. So when you have extended time, use that extended time, a portion of it, to say who you're looking for. I'm looking for the retired homeowners who already hire a gardener and a house cleaner. Those people would make great referrals for me. If I were representing Window Cleaning Plus, that's what I would say. If I were representing the Networker's Tour Guide, I can't tell the room I'm looking for anyone who networks, because really that's not always an ideal client for me. Just because someone's networking doesn't mean they're an ideal client for me. An ideal client for me is somebody who gets very nervous when it comes time to introduce themselves. An ideal referral for me is that person, that business owner that you continually invite to networking meetings and they continually turn you down. So that's a specific person. And if someone in your life and someone in the audience's life is doing that, they can easily know, oh, yeah, that's Bob. Yeah, every time I ask Bob to come to this mixer or my meeting or a chamber event, he always says no. And I always ask him, well, why not? And he says, oh, I just can't. I can't do the small talk. I get so nervous. Oh, that's a referral for Faithann. So use this time to tell your audience in more depth how they will know when they're standing in the middle of a referral for you. We only know a shadow of what people do. We don't know what they do. We know a shadow of what they do. And the job of your feature presentation is to build excitement about your business and to help the room understand when they are standing in the middle of a referral for you so that they can pass that referral to you. That's the point of our networking, is creating opportunities for others so that when we need them, we can go and ask for opportunities for ourselves. Okay? The race to positive interactions. That's what we want. Enough positive interactions so that when the people that we are networking with, when the people in their lives have situations come up where we are the perfect solution, they will feel comfortable and they'll know to send those people to you. So they have to know what the situation is, and then they have to be comfortable enough to send that person to you. They have to be able to risk their reputation by putting themselves out there to make the recommendations. So I have a lot of podcast episodes about that, about being referable. This feature presentation is another it's another way that you can shine and you can show the room that you're referable by preparing for this presentation, by building excitement beforehand, by staying within your time, and by engaging their audience and avoiding the doomsday approach to your feature presentation by saying something silly like, I will try not to bore you. I know this is going to be boring, but we'll just have to get through it. That's what we want to aim for, is excitement and bringing light into the shadow of what you do so that you can grow your business through referrals. If you are having some trouble with your feature presentations, if you're part of a weekly industry exclusive group and you would really like to get better at your feature presentations and you want a plan, you want me to look at what your industry is, to look at your business, and together we can come up with a plan for your next feature presentation so that you can feel confident and that you can create some real excitement and understanding in the room about what makes a good referral for you so that they will more easily know when they're standing in the middle of a referral for you so that you can receive that referral or those referrals. Hop on a discovery call with me. There's a link in the show notes. And let's see if we can find some ways where I can provide that support for you and give you a plan for your next feature presentation. Thank you for listening to this episode. Go and give your next feature presentation with excitement and confidence. I'm rooting for you.